Okay, now I usually don't do these things, which is like talk about chapters or things about the chapter in like a video following up it, because I usually give all of my thoughts slash review slash reaction in my chapter reactions, obviously, right? That's why they're like 20 minutes long, because I really don't edit out much of anything when it comes to my thoughts, because it's essentially a live read slash review of everything I'm reading, obviously, which is what a reaction is to me anyway. But the reason I want to do this is because Yamato is such an interesting character to me off the rip, just with his like 2-page introduction. So I figured, why not look at his character design, look at what he said, look at what other characters have said about him up until this point, and kind of figure out maybe where he's coming from, or you know, maybe a glimpse into, maybe I don't even know who he is. Like, just gonna like say that right now. This is not gonna be a video talking about like who I think Yamato is, like, you know, secretly who, you know, whatever. Maybe he knows Luffy from the past. I don't know any of that, and I really don't think he like it's someone Luffy knows. So let's talk about Yamato. Now, Yamato was mentioned in chapter 977 in passing by Kaido, which was really interesting because he really just said, like, out of nowhere, he was just like, hey, where's my idiot son, Yamato? And everyone's just like, or like, he was like, where's my idiot son? And like, everyone was just like, Nani? Like, your son? What are you talking about? You have a son? It was kind of crazy that Kaido, of all people, you know, the strongest guy in the, you know, in the world, quote unquote, the guy that literally jumped off Sky Islands and wanted, you know, he didn't want to live. He kept trying to, you know, do the anti-living method. And he has a son. So it was really interesting to see that he, a guy that doesn't want to live and, you know, it seemed very depressed, has a son. So I thought that was really interesting first off, like off the jump. But already after that, in chapter 979, after they introduced the Tobiropo and, like, you know, Oti, Sasaki, all of them, it was really evident that Kaido has a weird relationship with his son, slash, like, you can tell his son is a type that really likes to be defiant, slash, like a rebel, because he, like, treats him like, okay, you have to find him, this and that, like, he calls him idiot son. So maybe his son is the type that, like, obviously opposes his father. And I really want to mention the character design of Yamato, because someone did mention it. A shout out to Team Hanto on my comment section for the reaction. He mentioned to me how Yamato has something very similar to Odin, which is that big, like, rope ribbon essentially around the waist and the back. And I really, like, I noticed it, but for some reason it just didn't click in my head that, oh yeah, Odin had that. And, you know, obviously if you know, like, Naruto, like Orochimaru and his squad have that, like, it's something that, like, it's, you know, in Japanese, like, culture and everything. So I like saw it, so I just didn't click that also Odin had used it. So I thought that was a very nice, like, connection to Odin that I really didn't even see. So for it to be a little bit easier for me, I'm gonna have Yamato pulled up on my phone to look at it while we talk, because there's a lot of stuff going on with his character. First off, I didn't even notice it, but he has chains around his wrists. Now, to me, that obviously symbolizes / signifies that maybe Kaido keeps him locked up and doesn't want him to either get out or something. Because obviously from this one panel where he just destroys Ulti, he's strong. And not only that, prior, when Kaido tasked the Tobiropo to find, you know, Yamato, they were like, oh, that's troublesome. Because they know how, one, he's Kaido's son, and two, they know how strong he is. And this chapter just proved even further that with the chains around his wrist, maybe Kaido has him restricted and tries to keep him at least, you know, in prison for certain reasons. Obviously, again, leading more into that theory / fact that, you know, he's very defiant towards his father. Not only that, like, in true fashion, he is Kaido's son, so logically he is going to be quite a big person. Because you can tell by the way, one, like when that one panel where he's like, you know, put his hands out to Luffy, and two, when he literally picks Luffy up and he's carrying him like a football, like, Yamato is big. He's probably about as tall as like Katakuri or something, you know what I mean? So his size is obviously indicative of his father and everything, so that's also pretty cool. Another big thing is his hair. His hair is long, and he also has a very long beard, which leads further into the fact that obviously that he was probably in prison for either maybe he was trying to stop his father, or I want to get into something, but I'm not going to get into it right now. I'll get into it a little bit further after we get done talking about his character. So it seems like he definitely trained, or at least saw or had someone train him, or maybe the same master as Kaido or something. Because obviously the dude isn't young either, because we know Kaido's old too. So, you know, Yamato isn't like, you know, 15, 20 years old. He's probably like in his 30s. And while he does seem like he was in prison, he doesn't seem like he's malnourished. He also seems like he gets to wear what he wants. He's wearing like a kimono type of outfit. Like, he's not wearing like prison gear, you know what I mean? So he's probably been in prison, but they probably treat him well still, since he is Kaido's son. They're not just gonna like torture him. So it definitely feels like he does get in prison half the time, but that's probably just a punishment thing. Now, because Team Honto mentioned the like ribbon rope, I really wanted to like talk about that, because he did mention the fact that it is a possibility that maybe while he was a kid, he was a big fan of Odin. Because, I mean, reading the flashback, you can tell that the only reason Odin died, I don't think it was a personal, obviously it wasn't a personal vendetta from Kaido. It was obviously like, a joint plan from him and Orochi, whatever. And it was more personal for Orochi than Kaido. Kaido obviously, you know, saw him more as a warrior, and even like did him a mercy, like rather than letting him like, you know, burn and whatever. So Kaido respected Odin to a certain extent. So it's not too far off to believe that his son probably admired Odin, maybe heard about the tales of Odin, because like I said, at this point in time, his son would probably be around, you know, 10 to probably 12 years old. So he's not going to be someone that can't understand things. So maybe that little trigger to him being really defiant against his father, and maybe, you know, that's why he continued to either get in trouble or get scolded, or maybe because he got beaten so much by Kaido for maybe, you know, some type of Baki angle here, where Baki tries to fight his father. Kind of similar thing could be happening with Yamato and Kaido. So it is very interesting to think that as a theory, that maybe he was a fan of Odin's, and maybe he saw what his father and Orochi did, and he never was a fan of it, and therefore that's what led to this spark of rebellion against him, which is really cool thought. I'm surprised like I missed that Odin also used to use the ribbon thing. So it was a very interesting thing that Team Honto pointed out. So that's kind of the driving force behind this video. It's really the driving force behind this videos, because I thought that was a really interesting thing, and not often do character designs like really like captivate me like Yamato's does. Because while I do like the Tobi Roppo, like it's kind of the same. They look different, they act different. You know, Black Maria looks cool. They all look different and unique. But they also have that same running aesthetic of like the Pirate Crew and the Beast Crew. So I'm not that like crazy about how, you know, unique quote unquote they look. But out of left field, you have this character with long, at the moment obviously in the manga, white hair. Could be blonde, could be any light color, or it could just be white. Long hair, long beard, Oni mask with horns, which the horns could be fake or real. I mean, Kaido has horns, so it could be. Definitely probably would have been a really rough birthing process if they're real, but I mean, it probably is a real. And it's good to mention that they're also blacked out, so I don't know if that's Haki imbued or if he just has like, you know, black horns. That'd be pretty cool. But the Oni mask, the chains around his wrist, the Thunder Bagua, the ribbon rope, which is what I'm gonna call that. I know there's probably official name for it, but I'll probably just look it up afterwards. But then you have the club and lots of these things, and the fact that Luffy senses no hostility from him, obviously, and the fact that he's been waiting for Luffy, which means he's probably been hearing about Luffy, and ever since he declared the war against Kaido and, you know, destroying Punk Hazard and all that. Because you guys got to remember, Punk Hazard and all that stuff, we've been in time skip since what, chapter 500? We're almost we're almost to the point where the time skip happened. You know, we're almost 500 chapters away from that, so it's been a long time. So that line of "I've been waiting a very long time for you," that's why I don't really look too much into it and saying that he's probably like future sight and looking into the future. I think he just heard about Luffy since Punk Hazard, and he's like, wow, this might be the guy / the chance that I can get to actually defeat my father. So whether he has an ulterior motive to, like, be, more evil or whatever, we have yet to see that. I don't think he's gonna be a potential Nakama. And it's also funny how Luffy's befriending, you know, essentially the second strongest, you can argue, or maybe, you know, one of the top strongest people, like he did with Big Mom's crew. Like he befriended Katakuri and then had that fight and everything. And then here, it seems like Yamato is very friendly with him, and Luffy, again, because he knows there's a hostility, he's just like kind of chilling right now. So it's very cool how Mihawk's prognosis in Marineford continues to be relevant today. Of the strongest thing that Luffy has isn't his Conqueror's Haki, isn't his Haki in general, is it has and always will be the fact that he can gather people no matter who you are. If he likes you, and the other person, you know, the enemy or whatever, like likes him back or likes his tenacity, whatever, half the time they're gonna, like, you know, oh, okay, I guess we'll, you know, I'll back you up in the next fight, or, you know, there's always something. Luffy has, you know, has that, and that's obviously even more prevalent now considering he has Kaido's son on his side for the moment, anyway. So, all that being said, let me know what you guys think about Yamato and his design. Obviously, this is just a spoiler-filled video. Like, you can't click on this video having not read the chapter, so it is what it is with that. I really like the chapter. I really like Yamato. I really like where this is going. I'm really excited. Of course, I knew when I was reading the chapter that this was going to happen, where something big was going to happen, and then we're going to have to wait 2 weeks, because that's how Oda rolls. If you see that there's going to be a 2-week break, expect something huge to be revealed. And I believe he did the exact same thing. No, actually, no, I don't think he did it with Snake Man, but I think with Gear 4 he did it. The first time he did it in Dressrosa, he did Gear 4, then it was like a 2-week break, and then he came back. So Oda loves doing that. So he loves revealing big things and then making you wait 2 weeks. So that's why when I saw the 2-week counter, you know, I was like, oh no, we're probably gonna have to wait for, there's gonna be something huge. So it is with that. So I'm really excited for the next chapter in like July 5th or something like that. So that'll be awesome. And then also the One Piece anime is coming back this Saturday at 10 with episode 930, which is very, very, very exciting because I missed the anime. And from there was like the preview for the next episode, and it looks beautiful. And they has also previews of like other things that they've finished for the like 2 part of Wano. And honestly, I'm really excited to keep watching now, like even more so, because it seems like with the break and the time off, they probably had more time to plan stuff. You know, those people that were probably still working, you know, here and there, probably with Toei, definitely probably had more time to let the anime breathe and work on it. So the anime is looking even better than ever, like, you know, and which is crazy to say. So I'm really excited for 930. So all that being said, if you guys enjoyed, make sure you leave a like, comment, subscribe, share the video if you enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye, guys.